In the year 2558, humanity was well beyond its early, stumbling steps into the cosmos. What had started as curiosity and cautious exploration had, over centuries, evolved into a powerful presence across the galaxy. Humanity was known by other species for its resilience, stubbornness, and fierce loyalty to its allies. But, above all, one phrase was spoken about humans in hushed tones across many worlds: we don't negotiate. It started as a simple rule. When humanity's diplomats made a promise, they kept it, and when they drew a line, they did not cross it. Negotiation had been taken advantage of too many times in the early years of contact with alien empires, each of which thought they could manipulate or intimidate humans into compromise. They quickly learned otherwise. The Saurians were the first to test this. They held sway over a massive empire, ruthless and cunning. They controlled the main jump routes to Earth and several human colonies, effectively throttling humanity's ability to expand. For years, humanity was forced to go around, adding years to their journeys, rerouting resources, and swallowing minor indignities. The Saurian ministers, finding humanity's frustration amusing, continued with their blockade despite multiple entreaties to remove it. Then came the Mars incident. A Saurian warship, massive and bristling with weapons, entered the Martian orbit without warning, claiming to be on a routine inspection. Humanity had enough. They demanded the ship leave immediately. When it did not, Earth's answer came in the form of a rapid, brutal attack that left the Saurian warship gutted, its crew barely able to send a distress signal back to their empire. Saurian leaders called it a violation of galactic norms, and they threatened retaliation. Human leaders responded with a single, stark message: we don't negotiate, remove your blockades, or we will. The galaxy held its breath as they waited for the Saurians to retaliate, but humanity was prepared. Defense platforms along their borders went active, and alliances long considered minor by galactic standards quietly aligned their forces. Colonies fortified themselves. Every human captain, from battleships to cargo freighters, received orders: if fired upon, fire back, and it was clear they were all ready to follow. The Saurians hesitated. Every attempt to pressure humanity through their allies or cut off resources was met with unyielding resolve. Trade deals were rerouted, ships and colonies adapted. Humanity took its stand, and for the first time, the Saurian Empire blinked. With their empire stretched thin, and now struggling with its own internal dissent, the Saurians finally withdrew, abandoning the jump routes. Not a single concession was given by humanity, and not a single human leader uttered the words, "Let's work out a deal." Humanity's resolve became legend. Tales spread from world to world, whispered by traders, diplomats, and travelers. Never cross a human and expect them to back down. The story of humanity stands spread fast and far, in darkened cantinas on outlying planets, and in grand halls of alien empires. One thing became clear: the humans would never negotiate away their freedom, and any attempt to make them would end poorly for all involved. However, not everyone believed the legend. The Crithari Confederation, a coalition of trade-centric, insectoid species with a reputation for ruthless economic exploitation, saw an opportunity in humanity's seemingly rigid stance. The Crithari operated on a different philosophy. Negotiation was their game, and patience their weapon. They saw the humans' refusal to bend as a challenge, and in typical Crithari fashion, they devised a plan they believed would cripple humanity economically, forcing them to the table. The Crithari made their first move, a silent yet devastating blow to humanity's trade routes. They monopolized fuel refineries on remote mining worlds, intercepting humanity's supply lines in seemingly innocent business acquisitions. Slowly, fuel prices rose to impossible levels, and certain colonies found themselves unable to obtain the vital resources they needed. The Crithari gambled on the idea that humanity would eventually reach out with a request to negotiate. But as weeks dragged on, the Crithari grew uneasy. Instead of opening diplomatic channels, humanity started diverting resources from other sectors, pouring funds and manpower into independent mining operations. Engineers innovated on low-fly solutions to refine fuel from an exploited planet on the edge of their space. Every attempt to pressure humanity economically was met with resilience and sheer willpower. And as resources diverted, colonies banded together, pooling supplies and coordinating transport across entire sectors. Then, like a spark in the night, humanity's hidden retaliation struck. Reports started trickling into the Krithri command centers. Several of their acquired mining stations had gone dark overnight. By the time the Krithri sent in reinforcements, they found only empty refineries and derelict ships. The humans had struck surgically, taking back vital resources and leaving nothing for the Krithri. No warnings, no declarations, no bluster. In response, the Krithri issued an ultimatum to humanity, demanding reparations for the destruction. They believed they still had the upper hand, assuming humanity would cave rather than risk a full-scale conflict. But humanity's response was brutal in its simplicity, the silence of space. Realizing they had been bested, the Krithri Confederation withdrew from its blockades. They reluctantly agreed to end their operations on planets near human territories. Humanity had once again proven that they didn't need to negotiate when their actions spoke louder than any words. From that point on, the unspoken phrase circulated among humans and aliens alike. The galaxy thought it had finally understood humanity, the species that never negotiated, that would not yield under pressure or intimidation. But while most alien factions now left humanity alone, a few still saw the humans' unyielding nature as a challenge. Among them was a coalition known as the Dominion of Ilkar, a technocratic empire of cyborg reptilian species that thrived on assimilating technology from conquered worlds. To the Ilkar, humans were little more than an interesting obstacle in their technology, a prize. The Ilkar saw humanity's silence and steadfast resilience as an opportunity. Where negotiation failed, overwhelming force would succeed. They planned a brutal invasion, one meant to break humanity's spirit and shatter their reputation. Under the pretense of a joint exploration effort, the Ilkar deployed scouting fleets to the edge of human space, their warships cloaked and bristling with the latest weapons. And then, without warning, they struck. The attack began on colony Theta-5, a quiet farming planet with a small population. Ilkar ships descended from orbit, neutralizing communication channels and cutting off the colony's defenses within minutes. The assault was swift and brutal, and the humans who lived there found themselves outgunned and overpowered. A call for aid managed to break through the Ilkar's jamming device, a final distress signal sent just before the colony went dark. Humanity's response was immediate. Word reached Admiral Elise Markham aboard the Resolute, the flagship stationed on the edge of human space. Markham was known for her no-nonsense approach, and the news of Theta-5's assault brought a hard glint to her eyes. The Ilkar had made one critical miscalculation. They had attacked not just a human colony, but a close-knit farming community that had relatives across numerous other human settlements. Within hours, a fleet was assembled. No diplomatic messages, no ultimatums, just a formation of human warships heading straight into Ilkar space. As humanity's fleet crossed the border, they encountered Ilkar resistance. The Ilkar forces were formidable, but the humans' rage was a force of nature. Coordinated strikes tore through Ilkar defenses, and any fleet that attempted to stall the humans was met with overwhelming firepower. In the heart of Ilkar territory, Markham made a broadcast. Her face appeared on every Ilkar network that humanity could hack into, her voice calm but resolute. Ilkar Dominion, you struck a civilian colony, thinking you could silence us. You thought we would negotiate, that we would yield. She paused, letting her words settle like a storm on the horizon. But you are wrong. This is the price of breaking our silence. The message was clear. As humanity's fleet advanced, they bypassed military installations to target key Ilkar shipyards and logistical hubs. Instead of engaging in drawn-out battles, the humans struck surgical blows, dismantling Ilkar infrastructure. The humans moved swiftly, never stopping long enough for the Ilkar to gather their forces, and then pulling back before the Dominion could muster reinforcements. Within days, the Ilkar Dominion's economy was in shambles. The humans never claimed territory, never left occupation forces. They simply crippled the Ilkar's ability to wage war, and sent a stark message to every alien empire watching. Humanity would not be broken. By the end of the assault, Theta-5 had been avenged. Humanity's fleet returned to the edge of human space. every ship intact, and as they vanished back across the border, they left behind a single, final transmission. We don't negotiate, not with those who cross the line. From that day forward, the Ilkar Dominion and all who observed knew better than to provoke humanity's silence. The humans had shown, once again, that their actions spoke with the thunder of 1,000 guns and that their silence carried a cost no empire was willing to pay. After humanity's swift and silent response to the Ilkar Dominion's aggression, the galaxy was on edge. Humanity's reputation was now legend. Stories of their ruthless efficiency and unyielding silence were whispered across star systems. Many factions withdrew from any contested borders, knowing that provoking humanity meant risking annihilation without so much as a single negotiation. But there remained one final empire, one arrogant and powerful enough to see humanity's reputation as an insult rather than a deterrent. The Rockar Empire, an ancient civilization with technology rivaling humanity's own, was known for its aggressive expansion and military prowess. They viewed themselves as galactic monarchs and had no intention of letting humanity's rise go unchallenged. For years, they watched as humanity repelled other threats with a mixture of fascination and disdain. But the Rockar's leader, Emperor Karl, believed that humanity's reputation was exaggerated, a mere bluff propped up by precision strikes against weak opponents. Karl ordered an invasion not just of a single colony or outpost, but of Earth itself. His ambition was clear: conquer humanity's homeworld, break their resolve, and force them to negotiate from a place of total submission. The Rockar gathered their most advanced fleets, battalions of shock troopers, and their dreadnought, the Celestial Wrath, a ship that had never known defeat. The Rockar Armada appeared suddenly at the edge of the Sol system, cutting off all incoming and outgoing signals. Earth's colonies on Mars and Titan fell silent as Rockar troops advanced, their disciplined ranks sweeping aside initial defenses. Earth's military was immediately mobilized, and humanity's top strategists gathered to form a defense. But this time, humanity faced a force as tactically skilled as it was brutal. The initial Rockar bombardment began over Earth's lunar bases. Their dreadnought blasted fortified human outposts to rubble, and Rockar fighters swept across space, picking off defending human ships. Civilian fear spiked as planetary defense networks went active. Earth's orbital stations fired relentlessly, striking with pinpoint accuracy, but Rockar ships shrugged off most damage, advancing with unyielding force. Admiral Alice Markham, who had led the defense against the Ilkar, took command once more. She knew that humanity could not afford to let the Rockar occupy Earth. Their survival depended on a victory here, not through relentless defense, but through a counterattack that would strike fear deep into the heart of the Rockar Empire. In a move that shocked even her own officers, Markham ordered a concentrated strike on the Celestial Wrath, met a distant, cautious attack but a direct assault. Every available ship and orbital cannon targeted the dreadnought, tearing through its shields with a barrage of torpedoes and energy rounds. Several human ships were lost in the charge, but they punched a critical hole in the Celestial Wrath's defenses. And then, in one swift move, Markham deployed Earth's final defense, the Valkyria, an experimental ship equipped with a weapon called the Reaper Beam, a last resort designed for planetary defense, one capable of piercing the heaviest armor. The Valkyria emerged from Earth's shadow, directly beneath the Celestial Wrath, and fired a single, devastating shot. The beam cleaved the Rockar dreadnought in half, sending pieces of debris scattering across space. A silence fell over the battlefield as the Rockar fleet, momentarily stunned by the loss of their flagship, stalled. Markham seized the opportunity. She sent a transmission directly to Emperor Karl, broadcasting on every Rockar channel. Your flagship is gone, your fleet is routed, withdraw, or face extinction. Karl, shaken but furious, hesitated. The Rockar were unaccustomed to surrender, yet the sight of the Celestial Wrath destroyed, and the relentless counterattack from human forces left him with little choice. Reluctantly, he ordered a full retreat, abandoning the invasion and returning to Rockar space. With the Rockar fleet gone, humanity celebrated its victory. Earth remained untouched, its spirit unbroken. Admiral Markham, addressing the galaxy once more, uttered words that would echo for centuries. We are humanity, We don't negotiate when our freedom is threatened. If you challenge us, be prepared to face the consequences. From that day on, the Rock-Car Empire withdrew from galactic politics, their power broken by the legend of humanity's final stand. The galaxy knew that humanity's silence was not a threat but a promise, a reminder that when pushed, humanity would not merely defend itself, it would prevail. In the wake of the Rock-Car defeat, a rare stillness settled across the galaxy. Humanity's victories had reshaped the balance of power, and the once warring factions now eyed each other with a new kind of respect and a healthy dose of fear. But within humanity, the cost of these battles was clear. Entire colonies needed rebuilding, resources had been drained, and countless families mourned those lost defending their homes. As humanity began the process of healing, whispers spread across the allied spheres, a coalition of minor powers and neutral planets that had watched humanity struggle with a mix of admiration and anxiety. These factions, once fragmented and isolated, saw an opportunity. They saw humanity as more than a warrior race. They saw them as potential allies, as protectors. Delegates from down scenes of worlds reached out to Earth, not with demands or negotiations, but with a proposal, a new pact, a united front that would ensure peace through strength, a coalition bound by shared values, independence, and the resolve to remain free from tyrannical empires like the Rock-Car. Human leaders gathered in New Geneva, Earth's diplomatic heart, to discuss this offer. The room was filled with men and women who had spent years fighting for their people. Now they faced a new question: could humanity, a species that didn't negotiate, build something greater than itself? Admiral Markham, who had become a hero across human space, stood as a representative in these talks. She understood the value of strength, but also knew that even the strongest defenses could be broken without allies. To the surprise of her fellow leaders, she spoke in favor of the pact. "We have shown the galaxy that we will never yield," she addressed the gathered leaders and delegates, "but we cannot stand alone forever. We've learned the cost of isolation. By uniting with others who share our values, we can build a future where strength is used for protection and conquest." The debate was long and intense, but Markham's words struck a chord. In the end, humanity agreed to the pact. The light spheres, together with humanity, established the Accord of Free Worlds, a coalition of independent species, united by a simple creed: protection without subjugation, strength without tyranny, unity without conquest. To mark the occasion, a grand fleet of ships from each allied species gathered above Earth, a symbol of their newfound alliance. Humanity's ships, scarred but still strong, flew side by side with vessels from countless other worlds, all of them bound by a shared purpose: the defense of freedom across the galaxy. The Accord soon proved its strength. Smaller empires, emboldened by the new alliance, tried probing the boundaries of Accord space, but each attempt was met with a unified response, a force too strong and coordinated to break. Humanity's reputation continued to grow, but now, it was no longer the reputation of a lone power. It was the reputation of a leader among allies, a pillar of a united force for peace. Over time, Earth became not just a hub for humans, but a symbol of resilience for many species across the Accord. Diplomats from every world walked its halls, debating, trading, and sharing knowledge. Humanity was no longer isolated. It was a cornerstone of a new galaxy. In the years that followed, the galaxy still spoke of humanity's resolve, but with new respect. They were known as the ones who, when pressed, didn't yield. They were also known as the ones who, in victory, chose not to conquer but to unite. The Accord of Free Worlds would hold, and peace would reign, so long as they remembered the lesson humanity had taught them all. Freedom is defended not just by the strength to fight but by the courage to stand together. 5 years after the formation of the Accord of Free Worlds, the galaxy felt like a different place. What had once been a chaotic expanse of hostile empires and cutthroat alliances was now dotted with planets and colonies, held together by the shared ideals of freedom and mutual respect. The Accord had proven a powerful force for peace, a unity of countless species, each distinct, yet bound by a collective promise to defend one another. But, as with all powerful alliances, not everyone saw peace as a blessing. On the distant edge of Accord space, a threat loomed in the darkness. A nomadic fleet known as the Or-KL Marauders. The Or-KL were relentless. Nomads with an insatiable hunger for plunder, technology, and control, they lived off conquest. Their entire culture centered around a cycle of raiding, consuming, and moving on. Now, they looked toward a court space with the gleam of hungry eyes, believing that they would finally break this so-called alliance. After all, the Orkal thrived on chaos and they thought unity was nothing more than an illusion. The Orkal fleet advanced like a swarm, cutting through distant colonies, capturing outposts, leaving desolation in their wake. Their scouts reported back with tales of Accord members retreating, trying to defend their own worlds. The Orkal leader, High Warlord Resh, reveled in the reports, convinced that fear and self-preservation would fracture the Accord from within. But humanity and its allies had not been idle. Messages spread swiftly through the Accord's shared channels, with each member committing its forces to defend not just its own borders but its neighbors as well. Humanity's fleets mobilized under Admiral Markham's command, and leaders across Accord space dispatched their most elite ships to stand beside them. And so, in the silent void of space near the border world of Xi, the final stand began. Markham's flagship, the Resolute, took position at the center of the defensive line. Every ship's weapons were hot, every captain prepared. As the Orkal fleet poured into Xi's orbit, outnumbering the Accord forces 2-1, they saw only an immovable wall of ships blocking their path. Undaunted, the Orkal charged, their swarm surging forward with savage determination. The first exchange of fire was brutal. The Orkal ships were fast and erratic, weaving through the defenses, hitting the Accord fleet with ruthless speed. But the Accord held. Ships from a dozen species fought side by side, each using their strengths to cover one another's weaknesses. Humanity's ships took the brunt of the assault, their advanced shields holding firm, while allied fighters flanked and disrupted the Orkal formations.